Alrighty, and I have cut Sterling loose for tonight. Well, we went a little bit long on Sterling's segment, and I really don't want to steal a whole lot of time for my feature presenter tonight, so I think I will forego the news rant tonight. What do you guys think? Can we end the year without a news rant? Rattle my papers here. All right, look, considering what went on last week, I can't do a news rant tonight without at least mentioning what went down in Connecticut. Now, it's a horrible incident, okay? It's not the first of these incidents. And it's not the last of these incidents, okay? These things are going to happen. I got to tell you, when that thing went down in Virginia Tech, my daughter was a student there, okay? She was probably less than 100 yards from the very first shootings when they occurred. That's how close it came to me, okay? There, but for the grace of God, go I. I have tremendous empathy for the families who, this time of year, this festive time of year, this time of year when we should be gathering together with friends and family and celebrating our blessings for the year, they're saddled with the responsibility of having to bury children, something no parent should ever have to do. But you do not make legislation in haste The Constitution of the United States says shall not be infringed. Let's understand this carefully. Shall not be infringed. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say anything about inviting Bambi home for dinner. Okay? It talks about a militia. The last line of defense against tyranny. Now, the chances of Bambi subjugating me are pretty slim. The chances that a government might, over an extended period of time, go rogue and need to be reminded by an armed populace just who the boss really is a much stronger possibility. Yes, what happened in Connecticut was horrible. However, as with about 90% of the incidents of that type, I suspect that what we're looking at here is we're looking at SSRI-type pharmaceuticals as the real core cause. Or maybe some kind of a, CIA wet work deal. I don't know. Okay? I do not report the news. I comment on the news. I've heard all kinds of reports. I've heard reports that, there are a couple extra people arrested on the scene who were acting very suspicious, as in running away from the scene right after the shootings happened. I've heard all kinds of confusion over just what kind of guns were employed. First I heard it was a couple of pistols. Then I heard it was a couple of pistols and a long gun. Then the long gun was found locked up in the trunk of the car. So all kinds of stuff about this thing look a little odd, shall we say. Okay? But, it was a horrible incident. So I can understand how the boots on the ground might have been, a little confused and a little dazed initially. Might have taken them a little bit to, get all their stories straight. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I don't want to run off on a tangent saying it was some kind of a, black ops scenario, when so far there's really no definitive proof. What is known is that the young man who is claimed to have been the shooter was on psychotropic drugs, as were so many who were involved in similar incidents. Now they want to take away anything that even resembles a military firearm. Okay? Well, back in the old days, man went to war, he came back, he kept his rifle. Okay? That was his rifle. It was issued to him by the government, and he kept it. That was the way things went up until the 1930s, when the private citizens' access to military-type weapons was curtailed. We were not allowed to have fully automatic weapons as they were rolled out for common use in the military. So we're held back. The technology of weaponry for the American citizen is already held back nearly 60 years behind what's currently in use by government forces. That was never the case, and that was not the intent of the Constitution. If they now move us back to cowboy days, where basically all we're allowed is a 6-gun and a Winchester, they may not even want us to have Winchesters. Those things held 18 bullets. That's not acceptable. That is not acceptable. Yes, it was a horrible incident. Nobody wants to make any excuse for such a thing. But the firearm was an inanimate object that could not possibly have hurt anybody without the willful intent of the individual who picked it up, put it in their hand, pointed it, and pulled the trigger. It's that simple. The U.S. government asks a federal judge to dismiss the case of Americans being killed by drones. It has to do with that fella Alawaki, who, with his kid and some innocent bystanders were blown to bloody bits by a drone. Basically, the President of the United States signed an order that said, okay, without any trial, without anything, just because we think this guy might be saying nasty things about our mama, we're going to blow him up. And his parents said, "You did what?" Tried to sue the government. And the government has basically washed its hands of it and said, no, it's, a legal rendition. Okay? The stage is set for anyone who disagrees with the government to be in the sights of a Hellfire missile shot by a drone. Precedent has been set. This incident in Connecticut was bad enough. And, we don't like when we hear about, things like that happening. But, now because of that incident, the Second Amendment to the Constitution is obviously in jeopardy. There are those out there who think this is a perfect excuse to come grab your guns. But I don't know if you caught the fact that there's something even a bit more sinister about the reaction that officials have had over this incident. I want you to pay attention to this particular video and blaze it into your mind and see if you understand what it is this man is saying and how it might impact your right to speak your mind. Take a look, see what you think.
Police state news.
One thing that's becoming somewhat of a concern, and that is misinformation that's being posted on social media sites. It is important to know that we have discussed with federal authorities that these issues are crimes. They will be investigated statewide and federally, and prosecution will take place when people perpetrating this information are identified. Again, all information relative to this case is coming from these microphones, and any information coming from other sources cannot be confirmed, and in many cases it's been found is inaccurate. So I simply...
Okay, now I can understand that he's holding himself up as, look, I'm giving you the straight skinny. My stuff is the truth as best we know it, and all these guys out on the internet are just, guessing about connections to Batman and guessing about connections to LIBOR and guessing about this and guessing to that. Well, let them guess. It is their right to take a look at the situation and express their opinions. When you make expressing their opinions somehow a infraction, they're going to prosecute them? For what? For expressing their opinion? Other nations have other ways of handling this. For example, in Israel, when the kids go out on a field trip, the teacher, this woman appears to have a World War II vintage M1 carbine slung across her shoulder. But there are other ways to make sure that our children are as safe as we can. We make them 100% safe? No. Okay, let's face it. Your kid could say, "Bye, Mom, I'm going to take my bicycle for a ride around the block," and wind up getting hit by a Metro bus. Okay, these types of things happen. Okay, if you're going to prepare your kid for life in the real world, you're going to have to kind of grit your teeth, bite your nails, and let them take some risks. And yes, every once in a while, they're going to come home with their knees skinned and, maybe a broken bone or something, and you pray that that's the worst you have to deal with. But, you cannot coddle your kids and protect your kids to the degree where they are not prepared to face life in the real world. If you do try to coddle them to that degree, you will not raise healthy adults. I know, it's a fine line. You do the best you can. Now, on to other issues. It is the holiday season. My heart bleeds for these people in Connecticut. They got a tough one to deal with. And it's probably going to be very difficult for them to see anything to be thankful for. And for the rest of us, we look back at the past year and we think, all this damn bad news out there, all the stuff going on, the drone strikes and the wars and the senseless killings, most of it being done by governments, not by whacked out individuals with too many SSRIs down them. But it is that time of year when you really should step back from what's going on. Step back. Grab your kids. Grab your family. Have a feast. Dance and sing. Because when you do, it drives the power just to be crazy that you're dancing and singing when you're supposed to be crying about how bad everything is. And to those of you who think the world is going to end tomorrow at midnight, I'm happy to accept all of your worldly goods as you pass on to the next dimension, just, send them on. Just send an email to smartscarecrow@gmail.com, and I'll send somebody around to collect them. In any case, to all of you, a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a joyous Ramadan, and yes, Happy Kwanzaa to those who celebrate that holiday. It's a season of year where just about everyone should be thinking of the joys and the benefits that they've had over the past year. You'll get plenty of time to worry about all your miseries later. For now, enjoy your friends and family. It's that time of year. And that was Scarecrow's News Rant, the last one for 2012.